Alright, so today we're going to be going over some smart grocery shopping ideas and what that kind of looks like. My full name is Cameron, or you can call me Cam, whichever you prefer. Okay, so what did the group last week talk to you guys about? Do you guys remember?
Breakfast, I think, like the oatmeal and toppings.
Okay.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
What did the group last week talk to you guys about?
Yeah, they talked to us about,
Oatmeal.
yeah, it was oatmeal, but they also talked to us about like the different types of, what's good and not good.
Okay.
Like the different food groups, like what would be healthy and what's not healthy, dairy.
Okay, awesome. So part of shopping on a budget is knowing what you actually need nutritionally. So last week the group talked about your nutritional needs, and basically our needs are broken down into 3 categories. And how do you think that knowing your nutritional needs will help you to make smarter purchases when you're grocery shopping?
It'll help with finances most definitely. But it'll help you be healthier, like, in your body or whatever.
Yeah, you'll be healthier, but you won't spend money you don't need to spend on things you don't need to buy, right?
Right.
Because it's not gonna help you in the long run or help your body be healthy. So that's one of the benefits of knowing what you need nutritionally to help you save money or not buy things you don't really need. And so proteins, we wanna be eating 10 to 35% of our meals with protein. And if you look at this plate over here, this kind of gives you an idea of what portions should be on your plate. So protein should be about that much, grains, fruits, vegetables, milk, dairy products, anything like that. Fat would be 20 to 35%. That would be avocados or any type of nuts, fish, olive oil. Those are good sources of healthy fat that our body needs. And then carbohydrates, that should be most of our diet. And that is vegetables, fruits, whole grains, rice or brown rice. And just reiterating that knowing our nutritional needs helps us know what to buy when we're in the store. Alright, what do you guys think a plan would consist of when you're going to the store? When you guys are gonna go get some food, what do you usually do before you go?
I have to make a list.
Alright, you make a list? Okay. What else? How do you guys make your list? What do you do to decide what you put on your list?
I go through the refrigerator and the cabinets in the freezer and see what it is that I already got and go from there.
That's really good. It's exactly actually what I was gonna lead into. So when you're making a plan, it helps to plan out your meals 1 to 2 weeks in advance, or even just a few days in advance. That way you can eliminate extra trips to the store, as well as have a better idea of how much you need to buy of a certain product. Knowing what food you already have, going through the fridge and cabinets, and then make a running grocery list to add to during the week. Do you guys know what that means? Just every time you run out of something, write it down on a sticky note.
Bread,
Yeah.
milk, basic cheese.
Yeah, and so the next time you're just ready to go when you gotta go get some food. And then also knowing where to shop for the best prices. I think that's kind of a really important one. Where do you guys usually go shopping for your groceries?
I go to Price Chopper.
Price Chopper? Okay.
Price Chopper, I go to a whole bunch of different places. So have you ever heard of a grocery store called Wild Woody's?
No.
Well, it's in the hood, excuse my language. But they sell meats, like meats for a discounted price. And then I'll stop by Aldi's and Save-A-Lots, and then Walmart. That's it for me. I I
Okay.
never shop at Hobby.
Okay.
High.
Or Sunfresh.
Do you guys, so when you guys go shopping, do you usually go to a couple of different stores based on what you need, or do you just go to one store that's your store?
One store, Price Shoppers.
Try to go to one store?
I
Okay.
go to a whole bunch of stores.
Yeah, it kind of looks different for everybody. Some people like going to one store. My wife and I go to a couple of different stores depending on what we need. And we'll go over a little bit of why and just choosing whatever works best for you and your situation. Alright, so obviously, the best way to go when you're looking for the most nutritious options is knowing what stores have the best discounts or best prices on that particular object. And there's a little quote that I like right here. I got this off of choosemyplate.org. It says, saving money on grocery shopping is more than luck. It's about having a game plan and being smart about what you put in your cart. So that kind of goes along with knowing where to go shopping and why you're going to a particular store. And ways that we did that, because I'm new to the Kansas City area, I've been here for about a year and a half, and we didn't have any idea of where to go shopping. You know, there's always Walmart. We didn't have Hy-Vee where I'm from, or Price Chopper or anything like that. But we asked some friends and some colleagues that we had around, and they pointed us to Aldi, Price Chopper, those places that are definitely more pocket-friendly. And you can also search online websites and paper ads for discounts and coupons. Usually any store will have a paper ad. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, most stores will post coupons in their paper ads. So those are good days to go either to the store and do some shopping, or at least stop by and pick up ads so you know what's being discounted at the time. And then also, if you have smartphone access, there's an application called My Basket, and you can go on this app, type in what you want or what you're looking for, and it'll bring up stores within the area or within your location and how much it costs and where it would be cheaper to go to. So that's pretty nifty. All right, and then food pricing. Do you ladies understand how food pricing works?
No, I just always thought that some stores are more expensive than others.
That's true. Alright. Okay, so food pricing, there are two prices that you'll see on a label. So right here, you can see that there are two prices on this particular yogurt and two prices on this particular yogurt. So when you're looking at food pricing, there are two prices, like I just said, the unit price and the retail price. So the retail price is the listed price of an item. That's how much you'll pay for something. And that's usually the retail price. It's the bigger number. This says 12 cents, this is 72 cents. The larger number will be the amount you pay. And the unit pricing is how much that particular item costs per pound, per ounce, or per quart usually. And so the lower unit price is gonna be a little bit better for your pocket. For example, this is a 6-ounce low-fat yogurt, which is just one of those little individual serving sizes. And it only costs 72 cents, whereas the 32-ounce, which is those big, little bit bigger containers, that costs $1.62. And so while this appears to be a little bit more expensive up front, if you look at the unit pricing, the 6-ounce, it costs 12 cents per ounce, and the 32-ounce, it only costs 5 cents per ounce. So by buying a bigger tub, you might get a little bit more than what you need immediately, but you can use that for a few more days than you could a 6-ounce, and it costs almost half as much, more than half as much as the individual serving sizes. You guys have any questions? You understand how that works? Okay. This really helps when you're buying specific items like rice or canned goods. The cheaper the unit price, the more you can buy, and it'll be on your shelf for a little bit longer too. All right, and food branding. This kind of goes along with what you were saying, Bianca, about stores being more expensive. Brands are more expensive, and you guys understand that, right? The same exact foods can be cheaper or more expensive depending on who made it, how it was made, and how much is in a package. So here, I went over the weekend, I went and looked at a couple of prices from Walmart for name brands and the generic brands. So the name brand is just right here, come over here. The generic brand is usually great value at Walmart. But if you look for some Swiss cheese, this is sliced cheese. The name brand is Sargento, and it usually costs about 38 cents an ounce, whereas the great value brand is 26 cents an ounce. So it's 12 cents cheaper, essentially per ounce. And it's the same with all of these, the name brand. And the name brand is usually 2 to 3 times more expensive than the generic brand. And typically, the generic brand is made usually in the same factories or in the same area that the name brand is. They just have different labels for it. And in the end, even though it might not seem, with milk, it's only 1 cent more per ounce than the generic brand, but in a gallon of milk, there's 128 ounces, and that adds up to an extra $1.30 that you would pay for just the name brand of milk, the same thing. So on average, buying name brand, you'll pay about 70 cents for every ounce of food, and the generic brand, you'll only pay 40 cents for every ounce of food. So it's better to go with the generic brand, and they usually have the same nutritional values, and they're made in the same place, usually.
Name brand tastes better.
Name brand tastes better? Tastes better?
Always thought it was the good stuff.
You always thought it's the good stuff? Yeah.
It's certain stuff that's generic that I don't mind, but like, I have to have Quaker apple cinnamon oatmeal, not the generic one that doesn't taste the same.
That is true. That is true. Okay. And so this is just fresh food versus canned food versus frozen food. You guys have any opinions? Or thoughts?
Yeah, I think
Fresh and
frozen, yeah.
Fresh and frozen are better. Why do you think they're better?
Can has too much sodium.
Too much sodium? Okay. Hey, you guys are smart.
Yeah, we've been eating for a while.
You have more experience in the store than I do. Alright, frozen food and canned food, they usually last longer. They hold their nutritional value, and they're usually more inexpensive than the fresh food. But like you said, canned food, it can have the sodium. It can also have a lot of high fructose corn syrup or a lot of unnecessary sugar that they add to help it last longer. But there are also canned foods that have just pure water or juice, 100% juice that they're packaged in low sodium. Those options are also available. And fresh fruit, it's obviously the best because it's fresh, but at home, it doesn't always last as long. You got to eat it quickly.
Right.
And it can be a little bit more expensive because they have to get it from the farm or wherever it came from quicker than they would canned food or frozen food. All right, and then this is just a little activity. So you mostly do your shopping at Price Chopper, Walmart, Aldi, Wild Woodies. That's what it is. Okay. I went to a couple of different stores over this last week, mostly Walmart and Aldi, and I just looked at the different prices of different items that are nutrient dense, but also pretty inexpensive. And I just compared the two prices. So over up here on the left side, these left 3 columns, we have Walmart and Aldi are on the far right. Just kind of an idea. I left this here on purpose, the price per pound versus the price per ounce. Let's see here. So basically, one thing you gotta be careful of is unit pricing. It can be per ounce, per pound, per quart, per gallon, depending on how big of a package you're buying. receive as big of shipments or don't get food in bulk, they're gonna be pricing it per ounce with certain items. So just understanding that even though this says $1.07 for the unit pricing, that's per pound, and there's 16 ounces in a pound. So basically, whenever I'm shopping and I see per pound, I always just try and divide the unit price by 16 so that I can get the correct number or the correct unit price per ounce. Does that make sense? Do you have any questions about that? Okay. So, other than Bianca, do any of you shop at Aldi? Yeah, Aldi. That's Charlie, right? You
Yes.
do Anna, is that your name? Ann, okay. Ann, alright. Yeah, I usually go to Aldi too. Sometimes we go to Walmart. And then you can see a picture of the unit pricing is per pound. Right here, I don't know if you can see that, it's pretty small. And then the total price is $1.33. The same with the granola, it's $4.16 per pound. So that's not quite a pound of granola right there. And then on the other hand, the bread at Aldi for the whole wheat, which is a good source of grains, is only $1.29, and it's about 7 cents per ounce. So it's the same quantity, just a couple cents cheaper. And the same thing with the granola. Alright, and for some fruits, these are frozen berries up here. Walmart and Aldi, again, comparing those prices. Does any of this surprise you with the pricing and?
Yeah, they're really close, it really don't matter where you go.
Yeah, cause the bananas are 44 and that other place is 44 too.
Yeah. That's true.
Whichever one's closer to the house.
Yep.
And the berry mix is higher than
Yeah. And if you look here, let's see, these are peach slices, frozen peaches, $2.13. I got this picture off of online, or on Walmart's website. So the prices for a lot of frozen goods, especially berries, depending on if they're in season or not, or if they're being harvested, their prices can change pretty rapidly. So, yeah. Same with vegetables. The frozen vegetables, they're a little bit more expensive. They cost more to keep frozen. Canned vegetables you can usually just leave on a shelf. Fresh tomatoes and canned beans as well. So canned beans, they're a really good source of protein as well as carbs, and they're also, you can get them in a package, a dry package, if you know how to cook your own beans, or you can get them canned and just heat them up in a microwave and put whatever seasonings you want on them. Again, the tomatoes was $1.48 and we dropped it down to 98 cents within a few days, so. Alright, dairy. One thing that I always found surprising was that Walmart's milk is a lot cheaper than Aldi for some reason. Would have figured that Aldi would be much cheaper, but it's not the case. And the prices at Walmart, they're fluctuating so much, it can go down from $2.10 up to, or down to like 79 cents for a gallon. It just depends, which I think is crazy, because where I'm from Utah and the milk is almost always $2.50 to $3.50, no matter what. Alright. protein. So you like to go to Wild Woodies, that's what it's called, for your meat, yeah, your meats.
It stinks in there though,
Yes,
just in
it
case
does.
you ever go. It's one of those stores where you have to just breathe, you know, and just understand that you're going in here just for the meat, because I'm telling you, when you walk through the door, it will make you want to turn around. I don't know, it's like the area, it's just something with the sewage or something. But, like when we're having family reunions, we can go there and get a big box of chicken wings for like $50 or $60 compared to going to Walmart and getting a little Tyson's little, 18 to 20 pieces that come in there.
And it looked like an old restaurant shack with a
Yeah.
cow on top of it.
A lot of people don't like going there, but they do have fresh. It's fresh. It don't be like, you know, you don't get what it smells like. You know, you get fresh products, but it stinks in there.
Yeah, it's a good thing. But yeah, we go to, we don't get our meat from Walmart or Aldi. Sometimes we'll go to Target or we'll go to, like a meat butcher. Usually specializes only in meat, it's a little bit cheaper. And they have better deals for more meat. But if that's not an option for you, Walmart and Aldi, they both have usually decent prices if you don't need to be buying huge bulks of food at a time. Also, they're gonna have the canned options and the frozen options as well.
Like what you were saying, a meat butcher, I'm from Baltimore, and we have those meat butchers that you can say, just give me 2, ribeye steaks,
Yeah.
just 2, or 12, fresh chicken wings. We have that in my city. I never seen it here in this city,
Really?
never.
Yeah, they're, trying to think of one. I can't remember what it's called. But if you have access to a computer, you could look up a meat butcher and see where is one around your area. If you don't like Wild Woodies, then you can find another one that you could go to that's, more suitable for your taste.
Yeah, because I don't have any kids, so the city where I lived at, it was great, because
Yeah.
I didn't have to buy bulk stuff. I
Yeah.
could just go to the butcher, say, give me 3 pieces of liver, 7, 8 chicken wings,
Mhm.
1 steak, 4 fish.
And we're actually gonna go over that real quick about, purchasing in bulk. So here are just a few other tips, wrapping it up. Drink water instead of soda or sugar drinks. Everybody likes soda, everybody likes different types of juices, Capri Suns, those drinks. We need water, you can also drink milk or, but yeah, if you can avoid the soda or sugar, you'll save a couple bucks every time you go to the grocery store. Skip the snack aisle. If you have kids with you, go to a lane without
This
candy.
is set up.
Yeah. They're feeding on you.
Yeah.
It's candy on every checkout out.
Yeah, that's true. And also, if you have access to a freezer, buying the family-sized packages and freezing what you don't use can be a really good option. Because even though you might not need the bulk, you can still buy bulk for cheaper and freeze what you don't use and thaw it later.
Yeah,
You're gonna say something?
I was just looking at the last one, Lloyd convenience
Yes.
stores.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're high.
Yeah. Do you guys know how much a gallon of milk costs in a convenience store?
Five,
usually?
Yeah,
For
is
the
it
change.
5 or 6?
yep.
Yeah, usually $5 or $6. The snacks aren't even that cheap either, so.
Or you could go to, my mom's shop, what's that store where you can get a whole bunch of stuff? Sam's
Oh,
Club.
Sam's
Or
Club.
Costco.
That's
Yeah.
a big
Yeah.
Sam's.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you have some family members, that's what we do. We have family members that have Costco. Sometimes we'll go there, but they have really big portion sizes.
Yes.
I don't know.
The first time I tried to go there, did I tell you that? I thought it was just a regular grocery store.
Did they tell you you couldn't go in? You gotta
Yeah,
have
he's
your
like,
pass?
man, where's your card? I'm like, my debit card? Like, what kind of card are you talking about? Oh, I gotta have a card to come in?
Membership.
No.
Yeah. Alright. And choosemyplate.gov. If you have any questions, you can go to choosemyplate.gov, and that has some options for shopping on a budget. Walmart.com and Instacart for Aldi. If you wanna know how much an item costs before you go. And then My Basket application if you have access to a smartphone or internet, so. Do you have any questions or anything that wasn't clear? No? Did you learn something new?
Yes.
We did, yeah, I learned something.
What was something new you learned?
I learned that when you shop at Arby's and, cause I shop at Fresh Choppers, that it's the same thing.
Yeah.
But it's just a different price. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think I'll try Arby's out.
Yeah, whatever works for you, and also, one thing to keep in mind is transportation as well. It might be better, even though you might pay a couple cents up front at a store closer to you, you might save money if you're having to go to a couple different stores. You know, depending on if you drive or ride the bus or walk even.
Well, one reason I didn't like Arby's, cause you gotta pay for your grocery basket,
Mhm.
you gotta pay for your bags if you don't wanna box it up, that's.
Yeah, you gotta stick a quarter in the little thing, huh? Alright. Great, well, thank you for your time, and turn the time over to Clarissa.
Thank you.
Should continue recording, stop.